Welcome to The Teacher's Story. I'm Jackie Scully. This is a podcast to elevate teacher voice. In this program, you will hear teachers sharing their journey into this profession and their ideas for education. I'm kicking it off Teacher Appreciation Week, which starts May 2nd. This is about honest, vulnerable, inspiring storytelling. It's a time and a space for teachers to share their ideas for the future of education. Teachers are beautiful beings who give their heart and soul to their community. They're innovators, they're inspirational, not only to children, but to the people around them. And they deserve to share their voice. So welcome to The Teacher's Story. Enjoy. Hi, welcome to The Teacher's Story. This is Jackie Scully, and this is my diary entry number 5 from this whole school year of doing diary entries. And this is also going to be an episode where I will be ending season 2 and give you a little bit of a preview of season 3 that will start in August. And so first, I'd like to say thank you to all my guests that appeared on season 2. This was a really special season, which started January 1st of 2023. I started with a former student, Lauren DePiro, who I taught in my previous school, and she is now a teacher. And that was a really special episode that we had. And then after that, I continued the theme of ripple effect with Patsy Coy and her 2 former students in Malaysia, but are now in the United States as adults. And they are teachers as well, Rebecca and Rachel. And then I had on Raheen Fatima, who is a student, and we talked about how she took education into her own hands. And she is now at the Socratic Experience School, which really came full circle because by the end of the season, I interviewed Michael Strong, who's the founder of the Socratic Experience and also the mentor of Raheen. And I will be collaborating with Michael as well in the fall. So lots of great collaborations and sharings and kind of taking this podcast to the next level in season 2. I also had on some other friends that have made connections and have been doing their own collaborations, like Calvin Lawrence and Jolene Sheldon. They both were on in this season, and now they have been doing collaborative work with their EQ series with Jolene's Emotional Theater. So that's really fun to see. I also have had other friends that have had other collaboration with their podcast, Matt Kahuli and Lorene Connell, who are both podcasters and also have been on each other's podcast, and they were on this season too. Dr. Peter Berg was on, and he is the organizer for AERO, which is Alternative Resource Organization, and their conference is coming up this weekend, which I am going to be presenting at. And I will also probably give a little special episode even during my summer break to talk a little bit more about that conference, since that will be this weekend from June 23rd to the 25th. And so many other wonderful people on, Alex Rainey, who I've been friends with, for a little over a year. And he finally came on the show to sing the teacher song, which he wrote in community with myself and Hope Blecker and other people on LinkedIn. And he was on to celebrate the year anniversary for this podcast and also to kick off Teacher Appreciation Week in May. And I also had collaborative work with Amandi Peter and Kirsty Shakespeare, and we will be working together more on different projects in the fall. So a lot of what I have been continuing with this podcast in season 2 is kind of the next level. And that kind of gets me ready for also what's to come in season 3. So first, I want to thank all of my guests. That was not all of them, but many of the guests that have really touched my heart and appeared this season. And we went on to do other collaborative work post our episode. And so the season 3, I'm hoping to have on some Indigenous voices, so Indigenous teachers. I'm also going to have a lot more roundtable discussions featuring 2 or more teachers at a time and really diving in deeper into different conversations about how we kind of will move education into this new era. So I'm very excited. I will be going on summer break, just like I went on holiday break in December. So the summer break will start after this episode airs on Sunday, June 25th. And I will be starting season 3, which I already started to do some recordings already, and we'll be doing more this summer in August. I'm looking at mid-August, so potentially the middle of August. It might be more towards the end of August, like August 20th, but I will give lots of updates on LinkedIn and other social media to let you know when that will start up again. And that will be exciting because I will also start to share more about a project I'm working on this summer, which is my first book. And I do have a working title, but I'm not going to share it as of yet in case that's something that might change. But I am currently working with a book coach and starting to write my book this summer with the goal by Labor Day weekend before school starts to at least have the writing part mostly done, and then look at the next part, which will be looking for an editor come fall, and hopefully publishing by either end of this year or into early 2024. So lots of exciting projects ahead. So I just want to share a little bit about the end of the school year and also the spiritual journey I went on. And then again, to just kind of end the season to get ready for the summer break and start season 3. So the end of the school year had all of the wonderful traditional endings that we haven't really been able to do since COVID. So we had prom. Of course, I talked about my Germany trip in March. We also had graduation, which, I actually missed because I was at a wedding, but we had all of the fun end of the school year's events. It ended pretty it was pretty eventful. Unfortunately, the smoke that was coming from Canada that came into New York City did come down to New Jersey. And so our very last day of school, which was going to be a series of different field trips to beaches and other outings for the day, got canceled. So having a lot of ending of the school year with, traditional events, and then the last day was very not traditional because of the weather and the smoke, but everything is okay now and everyone was safe. But again, it was just nice to be able to gather and have our ending that we, normally would have. So it was a busy year. I've been hoping to continue to do these diary entries for next year throughout like the beginning, middle, after like our intensive learning and end of the school year. So I hope you've enjoyed hearing a little bit about behind the scenes as a teacher along the year. Literally the day after teachers finished, I went to the Philadelphia airport and got on a plane and flew to San Diego, got his t-shirt, California, for a spiritual retreat, which is something I've always wanted to do, something I'm very passionate about. And one theme that came out of this retreat was light and shadow, which now is something that inspires me to weave in as a theme into my book, and talking about the book's going to be kind of like part memoir and part the work I'm doing now in education and my ideas for the future of education, and focusing on this theme of light and shadow and how we embrace the two and integrate them together into our life to really have balance and appreciate all facets of our life. So it was quite a journey. It was really fulfilling. It was exactly what I needed at the end of the school year. I highly recommend it, even if you're not into spirituality. A wellness retreat, yoga, getting out in nature, eating clean, being very present, meditation. And then, the spiritual component for me was really important since I have been wanting to hone that and really bring that back into my life. And it's something that's very important to me, and it's really inspiring me to continue the work that I'm doing in education. So great kickoff for summer, and I'm about to head to this conference in New York, the AERO conference, and present and network and meet lots of different people in alternative education spaces. And I will share more about that in a special episode sometime this summer before I kick off season 3. And I just am really excited for all of the things that are going to be going on this summer. So I also have another student trip happening in July that is going to be to Switzerland and to Germany. And this one's slightly different because it's also going to be a conference in Berlin that is a sustainability conference where these students that we're taking, we have 13 students, will be working on sustainability projects and meeting students from all over the world, and then come back to school next fall to work on a project that they can actually use within our school community or local community. So I'm really excited about that. That'll be happening in July. And at the end of the month, my husband and I will be taking our family trip to Colorado We're really excited to explore that state as we start to explore more states out west. So many exciting things this summer. It's a very busy summer, busier than I usually would have a summer. So that's also why I'm taking a summer break from the podcast to be away on these different trips and journeys, and also to focus on this book. So I'll have lots more to share come August. And so I want to thank you again to all of my guests in season 2. It's amazing that celebrated a year of this podcast, and we're going to keep going. And I plan on celebrating a 2nd-year anniversary next May. And I want to thank you to all of my guests and listeners for being on this journey with me. I couldn't be here without all of you. It's been really special, and I've made great friendships along the way. You're not only a guest on the podcast or a listener, but I have been in contact with many of you, and we have, continued to have great friendships. And so, just excited to see where this develops and continues to go in the future. So thank you, everyone, and have a great summer. And I look forward to sharing more about this conference and also to kick off season 3 later in August. So I will be sending out information on social media later this summer. Bye, everyone. Happy summer.